Good morning. Welcome to 49ers in 5, your daily update on everything happening with the team that you need to know. I'm Rob Stats Carrera. Today is Wednesday, July 26, 2023. Here's what's happening with your San Francisco 49ers. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan met with the media yesterday, but if you missed it, don't worry. We've got you covered. That's why you are listening to this show. We will play the best bites for you. And let's start right off the bat with John Lynch. First and foremost, there is no quarterback competition.
Brock's cleared and ready to go. He's been cleared. He's going to be without restrictions. Now, having said that, we're sticking and we're adhering to a plan that's been put in place for some time. And he got after it the last couple of days. We upped his pitch count, so it was kind of the peak of the buildup. And so he'll take off day one. And but we believe in that plan. So he's cleared without restriction. There will be some time off, due to pitch count and all that, sticking to the plan. But the great news is Brock has worked his tail off and he's ready to go.
So there's no restriction except for the restriction that the 49ers are putting on him, which is, of course, no throwing for 3 days in a row, at least for the next couple of weeks. I guess that's being smart, and ultimately that is obviously good news. They said that Trey and Sam Darnold are still going to split the reps for the number 2 spot. Shanahan said the plan is for them to eventually get equal time throughout training camp. That could mean they split reps on one day. That could mean Trey gets all the reps with the first team one day and Sam gets all the reps with the first team another day. But ultimately, Shanahan said by the end of camp, he thinks that they will have equal time. Let's hear more from John Lynch now, who, of course, was talking about the other big storyline for the 49ers, and that is Nick Bosa. They are not close to a contract, and John Lynch said, don't expect to see Nick Bosa in training camp.
I would expect he's not here to start off. We're working. We're having really good communication with Brian Ayrault. He's got good, competent, and people we have an immense amount of respect for working for him, and we're working diligently to try to come to an agreement. I think the challenge is you're talking about a real special player, talking about one of the better players in the league. You could argue that could simplify things, but I think at times it's just finding that sweet spot and where the right spot. And we're committed to working towards that. Just spoke with Brian this morning. We're also committed. You guys might have heard Mike Brown today. We're going to keep things private. I always appreciated that as a player. I feel like there's some sanctity to those things. You don't want everything being aired out. And so we've agreed with Brian and Nick to keep our dealings private. So I think that's the extent of what I'll say. And when there's updates, we'll give them to you.
Here's an update. He's really good, John. Just pay him whatever he wants, okay? To quote John Malkovich, pay that man his money. It's not hard. And the 49ers are notoriously tough negotiators. And guess what? So are the Bosas. Hopefully, both sides are just doing that thing where everybody puffs out their chest and they act tough. And then when an actual deadline comes across, they usually get together and hopefully they can work it out. One more kind of funny thing. Kyle Shanahan said he's been keeping in touch with Deebo Samuel since Deebo's famous press conference where he said he was awful last year. I'll let Kyle explain how Deebo has kept him up to date on his training.
Never had a grown man send me so many pictures with his shirt off, but it looks good. And I can tell he's put the work in. So I know you guys heard him that day. That's the last time I really heard him, but I see better than I hear. And Deebo's in a really good spot, and I'm really excited for Deebo this year.
Well, that's awesome. And hopefully that holds true, because if we get a better version of Deebo closer to the 2021 Deebo than what we saw last year, this offense is going to go very, very far. We always give you one thing to read, one thing to watch, and one thing you might have missed. One thing to read on this Wednesday, Colin Kaepernick recently worked out with some NFL players, and they had plenty of good things to say about the former quarterback's arm. You can read the quotes at NBCSportsBayArea.com. One thing to watch, the Niners placed punter Mitch Wishnowsky on the non-football injury list after he hurt his back while lifting weights. John Lynch says it's not a serious injury, but they want to prevent it from becoming a chronic thing. But let's be honest, we've heard that with this group before. One thing you may have missed, the Niners signed veteran cornerback Terrence Mitchell to a 1-year deal after rookie corner Darrell Luter was placed on the physically unable to perform list after a knee injury he sustained during the offseason program. Now, remember, the PUP list is a little different during training camp. Luter can come off the list at any time. There's no designated amount of time that he has to miss. So that's obviously a little different and good news for the Niners. That's a wrap on today's 49ers in 5. Please rate, review, and follow the Gold Standard Podcast Network. Enjoy your Wednesday, everyone. Be sure to check out the new website, goldstandardniners.com, for more on these stories and everything else important happening in 49ers land. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. We'll talk tomorrow.